Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And this is going to be one of those videos.
Oh yes, grab your butts and get your popcorn.
We're going to talk about the Dave Chappelle Netflix situation. A lot of media outlets very angry that the Netflix boss, one of the Netflix bosses, actually went to bat for Dave Chappelle. They're not taking the show down. And now we've got Vice.
And this is why I'm here.
Vice, you sent this article over. They're mad that right-wingers are angry that critics do not have the same taste as right-wing review bombers. Basically, it's just right-wingers review bombing Dave Chappelle.
Right, because, you know, they said it was one of their top-rated comedy specials ever. So only right-wingers listen to comedy. I also want to point out that we don't lean right. And we've mentioned that many times, but here comes Gita here, who she tried to do this before with us, which we're going to talk about that in a minute too. I have comments for Gita. Gita here, I can't understand that just because you don't agree with her does not mean you're automatically a far-right extremist.
Yeah, there are an awful lot of quote-unquote alt-right trolls. I mean, because The Closer was one of Netflix's most viewed shows, which is why, the bosses came out and said, hey, we're not pulling Chappelle's stuff off the network. There must be an awful lot more Nazis in this country than I was aware of.
Yeah, and don't you know that a lot of these shows perform really well or don't perform globally? But it's globally everyone who does it, who either voted for Trump or Biden.
Yeah, and who knew so many white supremacists love black comedy?
I know, right? I'm just like, but this Gita chick, she's had some comments about us before, and don't you know she really has her panties up her ass over YouTube people. She's so mad, probably because we'll get more views on this than she probably had people read her article. And it pisses her off to no end, but that's okay. I'm here to let it flow.
Gita should pivot to video.
She should.
Anyway, we're going to talk about this situation here. Of course, you have to blame the right-wingers for the success of Chappelle's show.
And by right wing, you mean anybody who isn't far left. Because there's a lot of people I know who have defended the show. We didn't even watch the show, just the whole idea of how Netflix handled it. Who lean left, who vote Democrat, who aren't alt-right.
This is a tiresome play. This is straight out of 2017.
People aren't buying it anymore.
We're not
just
buying
stop.
it. Stop it.
Just, it's Vice. So it's full of shit to begin with because it's Vice. But you know what? You just look stupid. Just stop.
Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, over 237,000 subs.
Woo!
Thank you so much for the support. We do talk about pop culture, talk about Netflix. We do talk about the culture wars because you can't watch a damn show or movie or read a comic book or anything without freaking politics creeping into it, without freaking pop culture journalists
like Gita here,
giving their hot takes
and then saying it's news.
It's not news. It's you're using a platform somebody else built to take a shit on people and things you don't like.
Yeah, at least we built our own platform.
Anyway.
Before we start going any further too, I want to tell, this was because someone sent this to me because I guess Yellow Flash did a video on it.
Okay.
So I want to mention that because I want to, give him credit because apparently he did a video first and I want to make sure I mention that.
Okay, yes.
Anyway, that's where I found out about it from apparently. Okay, so this article, all right, is a steaming pile of dog crap. I don't know if I can offend. That's kind of offensive to dogs, but
they're Nazi dogs.
Apparently, all dogs are.
Dobermans, German Shepherds.
There's some narrative they're going to spin about this. Well, first of all, if you ever disagreed with anything that she talks about, or she thought you accused of doing one of the things she talks about in here, you are alt-right apparently. Just wait till you see this. Go ahead.
Right-wingers have noticed that there is a difference between reviews by professional critics and self-reported ones by audience members. This has never happened before. Bullshit.
Where have you been for decades? Rotten Tomatoes is recent. That's true. However, this whole idea that something's critically acclaimed and the critics fall over it and general audiences hate it, that has been going on for decades. It is not a new thing.
Yeah, I think the New York Times, if I remember correctly, New York Times thought Star Wars was stupid. I think it was New York Times.
I mean, how many years do we have, like, Siskel and Ebert and everything else, and they have these critics, and, they would say one thing, but then the movie would still do really well because audiences loved it. It has been a phenomenon for years. It is not new because of Rotten Tomatoes. I also want to point out, Rotten Tomatoes, they're going on about, review bombing. Again, as I said many, many times, and this can be looked up on our videos, and it can be researched on your own. You can review bomb things both ways. They have had campaigns deliberately inflating reviews, just as like they've had campaigns trying to lower it. This is why I say if it's 5-star, 1-star, half-star, whatever, probably ignore those because it could be one or the other and just try to look in the middle. But this goes both ways. Review bombing isn't just only alt-right people do it.
Rotten Tomatoes has been a useful resource for moviegoers since '98 when it launched. Initially, it indexed reviews from professional critics at a wide variety of outlets, fresh to rotten, yada, yada.
Yeah, because the critics only have the only voice, which is how it's been for years.
Yep, and now, the riffraff. Now the riffraff can give their opinions.
I mean, not just her on Vice gets opinion now. That's what they're pissed about, guys. They're pissed because they did whatever they had to do to get themselves on a platform that was already built by somebody else to get a warm seat so that they can have their megaphone on their soapbox. And now their opinion isn't the one that matters. Now the general public has an opinion. Well, that's not fair. They worked hard doing not much of anything to get onto that seat to have a megaphone.
Over the past few years, this has attracted political actors, especially right-wingers, to the site to review big pop culture events like Marvel. This is part of this is where it gets good. This is part of a broader cottage industry. Weirdos on YouTube, if you click the link, it's about He-Man, and guess what? I'm going to
talk about that in a minute, but before we get to that part, I want to go back to the other thing for a minute. I love this. In the past few years, it's attracted political actors. You mean like all the blogs have? It's attracted political actors because they're tired of places like Vice telling you have to love something or you're a bad person, which is a load of shit. It is a steaming pile of fucking shit. And I'm not sorry, Mom, because that's what it is. And she would agree with me. It's these media outlets trying to tell everybody else how they should think and what they should believe. And it's Hollywood, who owns a lot of these sites, telling everyone, here's what you have to like. And if you don't, we're going to bully you. We're going to tell you that you're a bad person. And then, you're like this article. Well, guys, it's the alt-right who do that. So if you don't like this, you clearly are alt-right. Oh, I'm not alt-right. Oh, I better not do that then. People are on to you. You're full of shit. Don't give me about political actors when that's exactly what all your articles are. If you read them, it's a bunch of political bullshit.
This is like a parody. A parody.
You thought you're like, is she even real? That's what you said.
Yeah, this is like a parody of an article written in 2017. Like, this is every freaking talking point. Like, how fucking sad is it to be like, it's the alt-right Nazis again. Oh my God. They're just trying to defend Dave Chappelle, a black guy.
Yeah, white supremacists. I love this. Okay, so yeah, they're talking about the weirdos on YouTube. For example, make dozens of videos about the box office numbers of Marvel movies with non-white, non-male leads in order to make a central point about how being woke, blah, 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 these movies are.
No. This is wrong. They make lots of movies about non-white, non-male leads in order to make a central point about how being woke, i.e. making movies starring people who aren't white men, leads to poor box office numbers. That's, in our case at least, not true.
Yeah.
But leads to poor box office numbers is taking existing characters, existing franchises, and flushing them down the toilet and replacing, characters rather than creating new characters. You freaking killed off James Bond.
Well, okay, back to this point, what they want to make about the Marvel thing. Okay, what happened with Captain Marvel was people were like, why isn't Monica Rambeau?
Yeah.
Not a white woman. People didn't like Brie Larson because her acting was suck, and she was really she was like a side character in her own movie. They needed a stronger actress to pull it off. Then what people got mad about was the thing that was started by media outlets where they tried to pit Alita against Captain Marvel. Now, if these people were genuinely for women, genuinely for minorities that aren't white women, generally for, this whole idea that, okay, it's a win if we have more women in Hollywood, then they would have been like, we have two major box office films at the same time led by women, and one of them isn't a white woman.
Yeah.
That should have been celebratory. But because that is not what they really stand for, even though they try to claim to you that it is. Their answer was, well, oh no, it might take away from Carol and Disney, so we need to hurry up and turn around and pit them against each other.
Speaking of Disney, a former Disney executive is in charge of Rotten Tomatoes.
Yes, which we brought up many times before.
Just want to put that out there.
So why do you think they were so quick to pander for Disney and do whatever they had to? Also, Marvel was brought up that it was listed as sold out for theater events. And it turned out that was not the case. And then there's this.
Speaking of Disney, Disney, which of course is Netflix's biggest competitor, Disney dumped a shit ton of money into Vice and it's now worthless. You work for a worthless website. Worthless. $400 million they will never see again because journalists like this flushed it down the toilet. Mm-hmm. And, we have a former Disney executive at Fandango, and Netflix is the biggest competitor to Disney Plus. It all sort of clicks into place, doesn't it?
Doesn't it? So, you might be like saying about us, about this article and being like, well, you said you weren't the ones who made those comments. Maybe they're not talking about you. I would think that. Until we get to the weirdos on YouTube. On this article here, you'll love this one. This one's especially fun. Basically, they spend the whole article talking about how poor Kevin Smith got attacked by people on YouTube, exposed, defeated, meltdown. Okay, let's talk about this because she clearly didn't even do her bare minimum research. She wants to bring up our tweet that Kevin Smith responded to.
We're the weirdos on YouTube?
Yeah, so she's talking about us. So when when you're going to talk about us, we're going to give it right back to you. If you've done your bare minimum research, you'd know a couple things here. One, we posted a tweet. It was you who posted a tweet on Twitter about rumors we were hearing, and we hoped it wasn't true. Nothing we said was bad, just like, oh my God, this is what someone told us.
Didn't even do a video.
Oh my God, I hope it's not true. Okay. Yeah. To which Kevin Smith saw said tweet, had a meltdown, I read their script and we could have used your, with Tila's there, we could have used your suggestions in the writer's room and all that and everything else. And as a response, we did a video, which you can go look up, and we said, well, here's what happened, and he's saying it isn't true. We trust our source, but he's saying it's not true. Things can change. We've seen it before, where it started out as one way, and over the course of months, it turned out to be something different in the end. Maybe they heard the backlash and changed their mind. We're like, we'll just take him at his word, and we'll see what happens. And you know what? At the time, only a couple other YouTubers actually came to our defense and backed us up. Most of them said nothing. Okay,
yeah.
You know who you are. Anyway. So fast forward to when He-Man, the trailer comes out. The first trailer is all this battle stuff, looks really nice. Everybody's losing their mind. These YouTubers are all losing their mind over it. Oh my God, it's amazing. And we're like, we're only seeing one episode. This worries me. And then second trailer comes out. And people are like, oh my God. Because the whole time Kevin Smith kept saying this is supposed to be a love letter to fans. It's all about He-Man. And instead he delivered a show which was about Tila. And if he had just said, hey, it's a show about Tila, He-Man fans probably would have been fine with it because Tila was a very popular character. The real Tila, not the shit show of Tila they gave us, who acts nothing like Tila, which I wouldn't expect Gita to understand because she would have had to actually go watch that show to see the difference. That's when fans got mad because he lied about it. And then he kept doubling down and he kept turning around and yelling at people. And you wanted to point out that they're like, well, they're picking on poor Kevin Smith because with the fans. And how did he make his career?
Oh, yeah. Kevin Smith made a career out of throwing shade at pop culture, mocking pop culture. Mm-hmm. He would do paid, seminars, paid talks where he would laugh at Hollywood and laugh at people he worked with in Hollywood and laugh at, producers and
basically doing exactly what we did.
Exactly. Yes. He was one of those weirdos on YouTube before YouTube was a thing.
Mm-hmm. But this whole article is about basically how this person does not like YouTubers is what this whole thing's about. And poor Ryan Johnson and Kevin Smith. That's what this whole article is about. You can go read it yourself. But go ahead. Yes.
It ends with fans may be being blamed, but they're not victims of anything. Mm-hmm. You deserved it, you Nazis.
Yeah, but if these people had gone against what they liked, they would have been upset and mad about it, guaranteed. But anyway, back to the original article.
Just want to reiterate, you work for a worthless website.
Back to the other article.
Okay.
Let's continue. So they're talking about that. Then they go about
Fox News and the Federalist.
which I don't watch. I don't watch either one of those, honestly. I mean, we bring up Fox News occasionally, but it's like there's one of many articles, but we don't actually watch those channels.
Yeah, I just love that they're going on about these supposed white supremacists and who are we defending? Oh, okay. Yeah, because they want to defend their own.
Well, don't you know, he's probably a white supremacist and he just doesn't know it. Just like I'm supposed to be a misogynist, I just don't know it. My internalized misogyny.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
And so it's called, I have an opinion. And as far as feminism goes, women are supposed to be allowed to have that. That's what feminism is.
So they're going on about cancel culture.
They're about Fauci. Then they bring Fauci into because they're mad because Fauci got down, but what Rotten Tomatoes
like
down
2%.
Yeah, for the Fauci documentary.
So they're talking about the numbers. It said Rotten Tomatoes. So this is basically their point.
After all that shit where they throw shit at YouTubers, and don't you know everybody who likes Dave Chappelle is an alt-right Yahtzee.
It's review bombed. It's being review bombed because it's one of the most popular shows ever on Netflix.
Yeah, for a comedy special, yeah.
Yeah, and it has 2,500 reviews. If you go out to She-Ra, which I'm sure not nearly as many people watch She-Ra as Dave Chappelle, 3,200.
Well, I got a funny story about this one. We're not going to go into it. You can go look for yourself. But when the She-Ra came out, people didn't like it. Oh, that's something else she goes on about in another article. They're mad because she wasn't sexy. No,
that's
honey.
Never the issue.
I'm a woman, and I was mad because it wasn't anything like She-Ra. Sorry, but you probably never watched the original and know what you're talking about. Anyway, there was concerted efforts. We talk about review bombing. There were groups on Instagram, on Reddit, and on Twitter. This happened with Captain Marvel as well. And they were having these big public, things where they were like, we're going to go review bomb these shows, but we're review bombing them to the positive.
Yeah.
Literally, there'd be things like comments like, oh, yay, lesbians, or like on this
5 stars.
Yeah, no comment.
No avatar.
Another key reason why I say don't look at 5 or 1, look at the ones in the middle.
Yeah.
They're on the other ones too, like Captain Marvel and things like that. They would say, I'm just doing this to show them what's what, and stuff like that. That is review bombing. Review bombing means you're jumping reviews that are disingenuous because you're trying to artificially manipulate the scores. We saw it with Doctor Who as well. It happens on both sides. No discussion about that, is there? But they're like saying, well, these reviews are so far apart from what the critics said. Well, the 24 critics watched it, gave it 100%, which I call bullshit. Nothing's 100%, especially not that show. And then the audience score was 3,200.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say if you're going to say that Chappelle is being review bombed because there are 2,500 audience reviews on a highly viewed special, then She-Ra, which has a fraction of those eyeballs, should not be having 3,200.
Right, and there's not a huge discrepancy. 73 to 100% isn't a huge discrepancy.
Basically, look, we can distill this down.
Too late. I just wanted to yell.
They're pissed off because Netflix's CEO doubled down on not necessarily defending the things that Dave Chappelle said, but defending this special's right to exist. For those of you who have not,
which they did with Cuties.
Did the same thing with Cuties, right? So for those of you who have not been, following this, basically some trans employees had a problem with some of the humor in Chappelle's special. Now, as I understand it, Chappelle actually had a trans friend that this was dedicated to, I believe. But
I didn't watch it, so I don't know.
Yeah, regardless, they had issues with some of the jokes, some of the comments made. And, we had one of the showrunners of Dear White People, herself white.
Who's white, yes.
Herself white, say that she was going to boycott Netflix. And apparently...
Who cares?
A small group of employees, stormed into a board meeting. They were suspended, and
Well, now they're like, they got their jobs back. They were suspended. They weren't fired.
No. Yeah, and of course they're not going to just outright fire them because.
But you shouldn't go into a board meeting.
You don't. That was insubordination. They'll be like, oh, it's because we're trans. No, it had nothing to do with that. It's because you walked into a fucking board meeting you weren't invited to. Any company would probably shit can you on the spot.
Yeah, and the fact that it doesn't matter whether you're male or female, doesn't matter, or non-binary, doesn't matter if you're LGBTQ+, doesn't matter if you're not, doesn't matter what religion you are, color you are, anything. If you stormed into a boardroom you weren't invited to, you'd probably be treated equally, which would be suspended. Actually, I think if other people would have stormed in, they probably would have got canned.
Oh, yeah.
So the whole idea that it's unfair they get treated the same way everybody else would get treated is bullshit.
So in lockstep, Vice took a different approach, but these all came out at pretty much the exact same time.
Which we've been telling you.
NBC News, Netflix CEO doubles down on Dave Chappelle defense. This one, Kotaku, Netflix boss doubles down on Dave Chappelle's
Wow, there's
transphobia.
a lot of these same wordage, verbiage even.
Netflix CEO doubles down. Netflix CEO defends transphobia. Netflix chief doubles down. Netflix suspends trans employees who tweet about Dave Chappelle. If you look for just double down. Yeah, that seems to be the word of the day.
So now this one's deciding because Rotten Tomatoes is like they have this huge score on Rotten Tomatoes. Well, that Rotten Tomatoes is the problem. Well, yeah, I agree with you. I actually agree with Gita. Rotten Tomatoes is a problem. We've been saying it for years. But it's not a problem to them because it doesn't go the way they would like it to go.
Yep. So Netflix did not back down. They were not bullied into taking Chappelle down, just the same way they weren't bullied into taking Cuties down.
Right. And I mean, I didn't think Cuties is a good idea. I think it very much borders on, but this is no way in defense of that. But I will give Netflix credit because they treated everything evenly. And that's what we need, is things be treated evenly.
So, they basically said in this letter in Kotaku, while some employees are disagreeing, we have a strong belief the content on screen doesn't directly translate to real world harm. Basically, we're not going to take it down. We believe adults can watch violence, assault, and abuse or enjoy shocking stand-up comedy without it causing them harm to others. This is how Kotaku ends the article. What the absolute fuck?
I don't know, Kotaku. You know what? That's so funny because I read a lot of your articles and say the exact same thing.
One of the world's most popular comedians standing on stage and saying proudly he's Team TERF is doing an incredible amount of harm. It's literally nothing else but delegitimizing and directly attacking an entire group of people. To shrug that off by using anecdotal, unscientific, and unrelated points. No, they're looking at their numbers. Actually, that's one thing Kevin Smith is correct about. Netflix don't give a fuck. They're just looking at the numbers.
Oh yeah, they loved it when Netflix said that. Ignore those whiners. They're a small percentage. We only care about numbers. They loved it then. You know what? People don't have to agree with what Chappelle said either. Like you can, I didn't watch the show. And I don't have to agree with what he said to realize that there is a concerted effort for cancellation, silencing. And I keep seeing it from, when they go on about the far right, the far left trying to silence everyone. It's like, oh my God, there is no way in hell that you're going to be able to not offend everyone, to have something that offends no one. Short of looking at a white wall. Oh no, you can't even look at a blank white wall because that offends people because it's racist. And you can't look at any color wall because in some way it's offending somebody of that color. If it's blue, it's offending frozen people.
Or Smurfs.
Or people that, died from, they turned blue for whatever reason when they died. You're not allowed to look at anything.
You're offending all the people who died from blue balls.
If it's a purple wall, that's misogyny. If it's a pink wall, that's just, that's using women. It's like, it's just, you can't look at flowers anymore either because that's just objectifying women.
Smurfs are people too.
I'm just saying, no matter what, you cannot, there's no way to not offend. They will find something to be offended about. You can just put a period on the paper.
No, you can't say period.
No, because what about the people, what about the, women who don't menstruate?
No, they're womenstrate.
You're not allowed to say womenstrate. You can't
say straight.
You can't say menstruate either because it has the word men and straight in it.
Oh, God.
Oh, my. It's clearly a conspiracy to make sure that women stay straight and only sleep with men. Oh, my God. I have been awakened. Like, you cannot. There's no way to win these arguments. You don't have to agree with what he said. But I do agree with Netflix treating it evenly compared to other things people are mad about, too.
I know what we need to call it. We need to call it crotch explosion.
Crotch explosion? No, because it's not fair to those who don't actually have a crotch explosion and say they're women. And there are women who don't have crotch explosions.
I am really confused. They're saying, hey, good luck to the 1,000 employees who are going to take place in the virtual walkout, because the virtual walkout. Of course they're having a walkout.
Wait, it's a virtual walkout. It's not even real.
I'm not logging on to the computer that day. I'm gonna walk out in Animal Crossing, and it's basically gonna be the same thing.
Now let me get this straight. They wouldn't do a virtual walkout over the movie that pretty much was like, low key P word.
P word.
Like it rhymes with Ito. But they're gonna all walk out over this. But see, that's the issue here. See, they weren't willing to walk out over that when people were upset, and I think there was articles calling people who thought Cuties was bad, terrible people. But then this, the articles are, Dave Chappelle's a terrible person. I don't have to agree with either one of them. What I'm agreeing with is Netflix is treating them evenly. Either you keep them both or you lose them both. That's what I'm saying.
Oh my God, they're offended by this? Here's the top comment.
They're offended by everything.
Top comment. What was that must pass between a women's legs bit? Has Dave never heard of a C-section? A large amount of people have been born without so much as having seen a birth canal. Thank you very much.
To be fair, there has been a lot of shaming of women who've had kids. I've been on mama boards for years and stuff. And for some reason, C-section people get shamed a lot. And that's like those who don't breastfeed get shamed all the time. And it's really, really stupid. I mean, you had a baby, C-section or otherwise. Some people, you have no choice. That's bullshit.
I'm a clone. I was grown in a tube, so I don't.
Really, well, I'm just saying. I'm just explaining. When people get upset is because on these mom groups, I'm not joking. You want to see the people that shame people the most? It's probably where these people learned it from. These mom groups. Yes. Oh my God. They're like the most, because there's always this one mega Karen who is like, well, my kids breastfed till they're 10 and they never even seen a potato chip and they only eat healthy organic foods. And I have them lick the bottom of rocks to get all their, get the mold on there so that when they get sick, we don't do antibiotics. We just go lick rocks or something like that. There's like some mega Karen tries to shame all mothers. And you always have these moms that, you had to have a C-section or you couldn't breastfeed or whatever. And they're like constantly getting effing shamed. Well, don't you know formula is toxic? And if you're a real mother, so I mean.
Oh my God, Karens.
They invented the shaming before the media outlets did.
Blame Karens for cancel culture. It's because they're piss poor parenting skills that your children are so fucked up and they go work for Vice and write articles like this.
Do you want to know how great a parent I was? Well, one, I couldn't breastfeed. That's the whole other story. But two, when our kids were little, our daughter's favorite beverage of choice was Pepsi. And we're talking like she was running around the sippy cup. Now, when we say that, it was almost all water with a couple drops of Pepsi in it. So she thought she was getting Pepsi. She called it Pepsi Ball. And am I wrong?
You're not wrong.
I'm terrible, Mom. I gave her Pepsi in her sippy cup and bottle, but it was just a couple drops mixed with water, so she'd drink it.
I had whiskey in a bottle.
You're teething?
Yeah. Yeah, I was.
This sounds like Pat. Our daughter, his grandpa, we call him Pat. When our daughter was like a couple months, 3 or 4 months old.
Yeah.
He was giving her barbecue sauce.
Spicy barbecue sauce.
And she's like, yeah.
He was just like dumping it in her mouth. I'm like,
he was not. He was sticking out his finger and sticking his finger in her mouth.
Yeah, but it was a lot of sauce.
He had big. And she was like, yum.
Your grandfather had thick fingers.
Okay, this is off track, but my point is...
This whole video is off track. This whole channel is off track. We're just off track because we're YouTube weirdos.
That's right, YouTube weirdos. We'll probably get more views than she got on her article. And she really, 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 really has it out for YouTubers for whatever reason.
She should have pivoted to video.
Yeah, there you go, Gita. Go do video.
Instead of working for a
and you know what? I normally don't bring up the person's name that many times, but since you brought us into it with calling us, YouTube weirdos... And I know you're talking about us because the article you linked, you put a quote that we were part of in it. I take that as, I have the right to fight back. Thank you.
Yes, don't invoke the name of Clownfish
not unless you want Geeky Sparkles to come down.
Want to swim with the
like
fishes.
Like the red rain.
Crotch explosion.
I was thinking more ginger, but okay.
Ginger explosion?
There you go.
Okay. We're going to wrap this up.
Please do.
All right. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.